What is up, YouTube? This is Hypergon, your chef with the cat, back again for another video. Now, the new year approaches, and I like to take this time to look back on the previous year and see all that has happened, both in my life and in this children's card game we all know and love. And as I do, I just think, God, there was a lot of bullshit archetypes in this game introduced this year. Not even introduced, but just decks that were popular, that were just so fucking stupid to fight. So, on that note, I decided I will, before the new year comes around, so I can start it off on a good note, look back at all the decks I despised having to fight against this year. Now, reason that I'm doing this is, not the reason, the rules for this is that it doesn't necessarily have to be a deck that was introduced, but just a deck that was prominent during the year of 2015, whether it was introduced like in 2014 but just carried on in 2015, or if it was just a new deck that was introduced this year. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started on this, my top 5 most hated decks of 2015. So, starting off at number 5 on this list, we have the DDDs. Not the different dimension monsters, but rather the new pendulum monsters that were introduced thanks to the Arc 5 anime, apparently translated into the different dimension demons. So, yeah, these guys have become a major thorn in my side. Originally, I had both them and the Pendulum Magicians because earlier in 2015, when they were first introduced into the card game and therefore onto DevPro, I could not fight either one of them. They both just drove me insane. I couldn't face them. It was madness. However, over time, only DDD has continued to persist in annoying me. I've actually kind of grown accustomed to the nicer brother, I suppose, of the Magician Pendulums. However, the DDD continue to persist because so many of their cards take their big, fatal flaw and turn it into one of their most powerful strengths, and that is their life point loss. A lot of their spell trap cards, basically all of them, require 1,000 points be taken away during each of your standby phases for their use. However, there are some cards, like their one fusion monster, I believe Dark or something, and their pendulum monster, Leonidas, who either negate or reverse that, so you gain 1,000. Fusion's the one that does the life point gain, and it's just so infuriating, because it's not even hard to get out. So many of their cards allow you to fuse very easily, and that fusion only requires just 2 DD monsters, and that can even be a DDD monster if you need it to be. So getting that thing out isn't hard, and it's 2,600 attack, so it's even more difficult to be able to get rid of it. It's just a pain in the ass trying to get rid of that thing, and I'm just at a loss for words on it primarily. It's one of my least favorite things in the world to have to go up against, because it's a pendulum deck, so it's inherently very hard to kill. Plus, I know I'm going to have to worry about life point gain during the whole thing. It's just very, very annoying. I'm not a big fan of it, and for that reason, it has earned the number 5 spot on my list. Next, number 4. Number 4 spot on my list is one I've honestly hated facing off against for a while. However, it wasn't until recently that it became a major issue, and we started to see the true evolution of the Masked Hero deck into what I like to refer to as the degenerate cousin, the Dark Law deck. Now, I don't mind having a boss monster that you centralize your plays around. I do that in a lot of my decks, so I understand. You know, you gotta have a go-to guy. But when you constantly bring out the same thing first turn, and it can only be defined as one of the most infuriating anti-meta cards ever, and it shuts down literally half of my stuff, it drives me crazy. A lot of my decks have no real answer to Dark Law. I can't get over 2,400 easily, a lot of my decks are graveyard reliant, and a lot of my decks search. He literally cuts out all 3 of those aspects, and turn 1 Dark Law is not hard, especially when you literally build a deck around him. Now, I'm not saying I have an issue with hero decks or even masked hero decks in general. I have no problem with them, and if you just happen to be able to get a first turn Dark Law, that's fine. But if I can get rid of your first turn Dark Law, and your initial reaction immediately afterwards is, oh, make another Dark Law, that's what pisses me off. when all I see are Summoner Monks and Goblin Burrs whose sole purpose is to get out Shadow Mist so you can make a Dark Law, and that's it. Nothing else. No potential for any other form of originality. That's where I lose it. I mean, I'm talking hero decks where I haven't even seen a Neos Alias, a Bubble Mist, none of that stuff, because all you need is fucking Shadow Mist. Just so you can have something to go into Dark Law to, and it drives me crazy. In that same respect, I also kinda hate any deck that uses Mass Change second in order to get to Dark Law, but that's more of a personal grievance. I can't really go too far on that one. That's different from what this rant is about. So yes, for me, not just Mass Heroes specific in general, but specifically any Dark Law specific decks, I just can't stand, and I'm glad they have died out since the time I'm making this. Honestly, I don't know how much longer I could have taken it. Anyway, number three. Number three pick, honestly, is one I'm pretty sure a lot of people will agree with me on is stupid and no longer should be relevant. And that, of course, is Teller Knights. After the big ban list finally came out in, what was it, November, we were all expecting that Teller Knights would get the shit beat out of them because why? They won YCS. And as we've seen in the past, any deck that tops out of YCS gets the ban stick beaten on its ass. And Teller Knights broke that cycle. And that pisses me off because I hate fighting them. I don't know what it is specifically. Actually, yes, I do know what it is specifically about them. It's the fact that they can go into their boss monster so easily. It's that even if you can't get rid of their boss monster, they have 10 others in their extra deck they can go into with the utmost of ease. It's almost impossible to kill their momentum, and they really thought that you could actually stun them for a decent amount of time by putting Rhoda to 1. That hurts so many other decks aside from just Teller Knights, and Teller Knights are honestly fine because they still have 3 Deneb. It really didn't make as much of a difference. They just got to mess a little bit more around with it, be more called a Haunted Reliance, and let's face it, it's not like it's very difficult for them to be called a Haunted Reliance because they already are. It's just, it's honestly such a stupid deck to fight. It's every single time compulse the field, compulse the field, and there's nothing that stops a compulse out there. If you think about it, the only real way to stop that is to prevent the summon or the effect activation. There's nothing that says you can't be compulsed. It doesn't target, so you can't do anything about that. It's just stupid. And it's a rank 4 deck too, so it's not like they don't already have a massive toolbox of things they can go into. No, rank 4 decks pretty much own the world right now because rank 4s are just so bountiful in the number of them, and it's so easy to go into them. Honestly, Tellers have just kind of been like a pain in my side ever since they first came out. Even when people didn't think they were that big of a deal, I always hated them, and now that people are realizing it, it's kind of like, I told you guys these are bad. But either way, I'm just hoping that next ban list they get their act together. Even if Teller Knights are less popular now, thanks to Pepe, part of me just hopes that they do get a hit, just so that if Pepe gets hit just as hard, we don't instantly see everyone flocking back to them. I don't need Teller Knights in my life anymore, thank you very much. Anyway, that's it for that rant. On to number 2. Honestly, I hadn't calculated how annoying this would be to make. Having to revisit all of these painful memories about all the decks I hated fighting. And now I'm up to my number 2 most hated deck, and I'm just being reminded of all of the angst I have against Ritual Beasts. Yes, Ritual Beasts are my number 2 most hated deck, and for one simple reason. I don't know what to do to them. Literally nothing I ever tried worked. Alright, let me see if I can bottomless them. Chain effect. Let me see if I can Fiendish Chain. Chain effect. They just keep banishing themselves over and over again and then resummoning themselves. As soon as they're banished, they're basically untouchable. Nothing you do can stop them because they're just going to chain their goddamn effect, let themselves get banished or whatever the hell they do. The fact that I literally wait in one duel, I wasted literally all of my back row on one of their monsters just in an attempt to stop it, and I just threw it all away because I could not do anything. And that's just one instance of a duel where I got just butt fucked by these stupid monsters. I literally could not do a thing to Ritual Beast. I don't understand how they work. I've never cared enough to. Fortunately, their reign was fairly short-lived as far as I'm concerned. And Ritual Beast has always just kind of been annoying to me because It's a deck that's confusing to understand to people who don't play it, and that puts them at a serious disadvantage, especially when they try and do something and every single thing they try fails. It's I don't know. Maybe I'm just too stupid to know how the deck works. I don't know. Anyway, point in case, I hate Ritual Beasts with a burning passion, but they are still not my most hated. My most hated sits comfortably at number one, like the prick it is. Let's find out who it is. Yeah, I'm sure y'all kind of saw this one coming. What other deck could possibly be no more annoying from the year 2015 than good old fucking Magispecters? Yes, Magispecters are my most hated deck for an eerily similar number of reasons to Ritual Beasts. Just one reason. I don't know what to do to them. It is my worst matchup of all, and it is because they all share the common effect of cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. Do you realize how much of the game that encompasses? Raigeki. Oh, can't destroy him. Alright, let me try compulsing them. Oh, nope, can't target them. Bottomless. Nope, it destroys him before that. Nothing. There are so few cards that can actually deal with that. It's just infuriating to an astronomical level. I just honestly, it is by far the most annoying deck I have ever had the displeasure of fighting. And the worst part is, even if you can somehow destroy them, i.e., battle, they're just going to go to the extra decks, so they're just going to come right back. The only real way to deal with them is if you can get rid of them by, like, banishing them or something. That's really the only surefire way to get rid of them, and there's not a lot of cards that actually enable that. Plus, they have a lot of protection anyway, and with all of their back row, which they search, mind you. If they don't search each other, Raccoon, then they search their spell trap cards. They're basically pendulum infernities with how they work, just spamming the field with monsters in one fell swoop, and then back row for days. It's annoying to have to go up against, and honestly, it truly is my worst matchup. Even now that I've kind of entered the pendulum area myself, I still really can't do anything to them. It just drives me crazy. I'm sure all of you guys realize how annoying Mad Specters is, so I'll just end my rant there so I don't get in too bad of a mood for the new year. Now, let me know what you guys think down below. Did I cover all the annoying decks of 2015, or did I miss any? Of course, be sure to let me know what you think in general. Like my Facebook page to let me know there. So like this video, subscribe to my channel for further content. Until next time, Happy New Year!